Shalom, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, as always, I'd like to start off giving all honor and glory, infinite praise and worship to our power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakha HaKodash, and double honors to our apostles, our elder bishops of great millstone who rule well. Peace citation to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Khadash representing GMS branch here in Cleveland, Lord willing, to bring out a quick and edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And just real quick through the spirit, I'm only going to bring out this one precept right here, unless the spirit hit me. And the one precept that I'm talking about here is Shalaki, had to put my seatbelt on. Hebrews 13 and 17, it says, obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. So I'm reading it again. Hebrews 13 and 17. Obey them. Let's get this word. Obey. Carry out the commands of someone. Right? Submit to a command or rule, etc. 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 Be ruled by. See? Be obedient. See that? Obedient. Obedient describes complying with authority, rules, or requests, often characterized by a submissive, compliant, or dutiful attitude. Obedient. Alright, obedient. Alright, it says, let me type this in, obedient. I can't see it. Hold on. Obedient. Let's get it, cause hey, you gotta remember the scriptures say what I'm about to pull this for a reason, man. Because remember that was our problem in the past. We will have goats or lamb, prepared, because we would have. We would know we were about to, Jacob knew when they were about to sin, so they would have their sin offering already prepared. Where Yahweh Shai, who became our lamb without blemish, who is the lamb without blemish, he only sacrificed himself once. Okay, so there is no way you can crucify him again. Okay, once he was crucified. So showing you that it's not about the sacrifice. The sacrifice is it's default. So that's what the sacrifice is. The sacrifice is default to the momentum of obedience. I'm gonna say that again. Sacrifice is, I said that at 4 minutes and 14 seconds of this video called Obedience. Sacrifice is default to the momentum of obedience. That's a lesson. Because through obedience, this is how, my sacrifice comes into play. Okay? It's the right sacrifice. All right, it's done in sincerity and meekness and contriteness and so forth. So, Isaiah 1 and 19, if ye be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. See? The Lord said, if you be willing and obedient. Okay? Willing and obedient. Because it's about obedience. Okay? This is what matters. goodness. I'm trying to have multiple up at the same time. Right. I must have missed it. Salakia. Let me see. Yeah, it didn't come up. Stupid shit. Sometimes I hate this app because it don't pull up. Like, why ain't you pulling up? You're supposed to. It says, let's see. Let's see, hold on. All right, let's read this, what they pulled up. 1 Samuel 15:22, and Samuel said, have the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahweh? Hashem Yahweh Shai, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice. See that? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. See, when Jake hear brothers speak, you gotta understand, bro. It ain't that brother that's speaking, man. We're merely vessels. Okay, we're just meat for the master's use. We're just potter. We're just clay to the potter. You know what I'm saying? So you can understand, man. We're just being used to do the will of the Lord, whether good or bad. You gotta know these things, and knowing that. Now I perceive when a brother speaks to me now I can receive it a different way, and I look at it from a holy and a righteous perspective more so than I've ever done or I've done in the past, because I understand that this message is coming directly from the heavens. And who's in the heavens? Yahweh Hashem Shai, man. Okay? It says for rebellion is because when you don't listen to the man that's over you, it's likened unto rebellion. And rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. And what do you do with witches? You burn them. All right, you put them in a flame. All right, and they're not meat to uphold the pressure or the potency of that flame. Only the elect can withstand that flame. And stubbornness is as iniquity and adultery, because thou hast rejected the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, he have also rejected thee from being king. So there you have it, man. Okay, obedience is better than sacrifice. The Lord don't give a damn about your sacrifice if you're not obedient to what he's asking of us. And one of those things is what we're reading here. Hebrews 13:17. Obey them that have the rule over you, because there is an order to this magnificent structure of business that the Lord has set up, which is the way of life. Okay, which is his way. There is order. This is 1 Corinthians 14:40. Let all things, not some, there may be a few, no, let all things be done decently and in order. Let all things be done decently and in order. Right? Scripture says a false balance is an abomination unto the Lord. We jump to the 33rd verse, verse 33. For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. So order is established to keep the church running properly. You have the heads of the camp, different GMS branches. You have heads. You have the second in command, the third in command, right? The elders. All right. And then you have the, you know, some brothers break it down to officers. It's all the same thing. Deacons, right? Like I'm a deacon. All right. So you have a deacons within your church, bishops, and you know, however this is set up. All right. And it's set up for our sake, right? But for the church's sake mainly, most importantly, because the body is you know, Yahweh Shah is the head, and then the body is his church. That's his bride. That's his woman. The church is his woman, which make up the elect in the body of believers, man. The large multitude of men, women, and children. So we gotta tend to this sheep. He said, Peter, do you love me? He said, feed my sheep. How can I do that if I don't have the principal things? If I don't have the basic things, the things that matter, the structure being built properly, my foundation being sure. Pride is when it's tell you that the scriptures, Wisdom of Solomon, pride is when one depart from his maker. Pride is not mixed with faith, and pride is not mingled and mixed with obedience. I can't be prideful and obedient at the same time. One is going to take precedent over the other. So obedience is better than sacrifice. You have to obey them that have rule over you. Hebrews 13:17, obey them that have the rule over you. Why, Lord? And submit yourselves. You see, I can submit with sincerity and purity by what? Being obedient to the voice or the man that is set over me. You understand? Now, because okay, now I can be purged correctly. You think like if those who ever did pottery, I have an art degree from college. You know what I'm saying? Mainly painting and drawing, but I took all the classes, photography, different forms of photography, the black and white photography, going into the dark room and letting the ink, you know what I'm saying, go back and forth. You shake it and let the color come out. You had the old camera, you stand outside, you put your head underneath the cover, you know what I'm saying, and you click the button, it flashes, and you know what I'm saying, like all that, man. Pottery, that's the point. I took pottery, I did all that, you know what I'm saying, ink. So I did different forms of art, man. All type of form of glass, you know. Only thing I didn't do was glass. I did everything else besides glass. But pottery, you understand why the Lord is talking about pottery and the clay? Then I didn't just do like the one everybody know, where you put the water in the thing, and you got your foot on the pedal, and you pressing down on the pedal, and it's spinning, and you forming it as it's spinning around, you forming it with your hand. That's one form of pottery, but you also have another form of pottery. The other form of pottery, you actually got to take the physical clay, right? Take the physical clay, and you wield it yourself. Like, you don't have a thing spinning. You got to take the clay and you make coils. You make coils. You ball it up, you roll it in your hand like a worm, right? It was a ball, but you make it into a worm, and you make coils, and you build the coils, and you mush it, and you smooth out the coils with your hand, because the clay is already in a certain form. Like, yeah, that's another form of, pottery. You think that pottery, you know what I'm saying, once you're done with it, like, mind you, I'm sitting here making this how I want it, and you think that pottery has anything to say to me? It can't say nothing. Once I'm done, I'm going to throw his ass in the fire. I'm going to harden him. I'm going to put color to him, right? Because you throw your color on there, right? How you wanted it. You throw it on different sides, and you design it, and then you throw it in the fire, so that that design can stick. So you can understand why I'm saying that the Lord did that to us. Not just, he did that to all mankind. The heathen is the heathen. All right. The Israel's the Israel. Like, angels is angels. Like, every makeup of man is fastened into the Lord's liking. He designed the pottery. All right. I had to turn that off before I cut the video off, man. It's like it. I just remembered. So the Lord, he designed all things to his liking. To his liking. That's what niggas don't fail to realize and forget, to his liking. So the brothers in the church and their respected rank is to uphold the church to the Lord's liking, so that the correct message can be delivered, so the correct message could be broken down. So you understand the form of pottery. If you don't understand it, you got some type of idea why I brought that up, because the Lord used that terminology in the scriptures. The pot, the clay is not above the potter. Roughly paraphrasing. Can an axe boast itself against him that heweth it? In Isaiah, right, the book of Isaiah, I believe the 10th chapter and the 15th verse, if I'm not mistaken. I ain't went to that in years. So the thing I'm making can't boast itself against me. Can't say, nigga, I don't want to be a pot. Why you making me a pot? Why you want to make me a cup and then just jump off the table? You've never seen that. So how much more man? Man is the greatest creation of Yahweh Shemi Awashai. It's the top of the food chain. It's the top of the pyramid, so you can understand. Right? So far important, so much important that the Lord is gonna put a form of His power into us to inhabit immortality, because we're the greatest creation of all creations that he created. You know what I'm saying? Even greater than the sun, even greater than the moon, the water, all these magnificent creations, because the sun has one vibration. The moon has one vibration. It rises, it's bright, and it sets. We can do whatever. We can defy the laws of gravity. We're gonna be able to, in the kingdom, we're gonna be able to teleport. We're gonna be able to, you know what I'm saying, read minds, telepathic, and bro, we're gonna be far greater than all these things that you see. That's why we're the greatest creation. We're gonna only be the ones to uphold, harness, and hold this power that the Lord is gonna bless us with, man. So those same men that's gonna harness this power is here today, and they watch over you. That's why it says you submit to yourselves to them, for they watch for your souls. They're guiding you because they're being guided by the word. Okay? They're being fed information from on high, from Yahweh Shemi Awashai. And that power is bestowed upon them, and they're guiding your soul. We're guiding your soul. You have to submit yourselves. You gotta get rid of that leaven, man. Because it'll consume you. A little leaven of the whole lump. So you gotta obey them that have rule over you, so that you won't be consumed. Because remember, at the end of this verse, it said, as they that must give account. Because wow, everything we do as men of the Lord in our respective positions in the churches, yo, the Lord is getting, who do you think we're reporting to? Everything is strategically done with Yahweh Shemi Awashai. You know what I'm saying? And these things are being reported back to Yahweh Shemi Awashai as an order. The angels take it, right? And then they give it to Yahweh Shai. And then Yahweh Shai give it to Yahweh, man. The chain of command. That's the account. That's the order. That they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. So here it is, you got a brother that's over you. He's giving you a charge, or whatever he's doing, right? Whatever. And then here it is, you're rebellious and you buck up against it. You don't do it right away. You just take it as if this is just some type of regular dude talking to you, right? You go to the damn BMV to get your license, or you go to the grocery store, that you in the checkout line. You think you treating a brother like he the clerk at the checkout line, man. This is a man of God, dog. This is a man of Yahweh Shemi Awashai. Watch yourself, because it becomes unprofitable for you, like it says at the end. That's why Yahweh Shai said, when you do it unto these, you do it unto me. To the least of these, even down, you got, listen, man. Look, man. Oh, man. Obey them that have rule over you, man. So that you may profit. So that you may profit. Again, obey. carry out the commands of someone, submit to a command, rule, etc. Be ruled by. Obedience is better than sacrifice. To obey, you're being obedient. So obey them that have the rule over you, meaning I'm being obedient to those who have rule over me, because it's not coming from them, it's coming from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I'm talking about anything. Lord said, I kill, I heal, I make alive. I, the Lord, do all these things alone. There is no power with him. He sanctioned it. Remember the council in the heavens in the book of Kings, dealing with Ahab, you know what I'm saying? And the Lord sent the lion spirit unto him and his prophets, man, as is written. But it was a council in the heavens that took place, all right, before the physical realm displayed it. So same thing, what you think going on with the brothers on the right hand side, right? Hey, look, the brothers is speaking, and that same council was happening in the heavens, and then the angels come down and work on the minds of these prophets, of us, of the Lord's prophets, us who teach in sincerity. We're the prophets of the Lord. They work on our minds, and we deliver it unto you, man. Jacob give a charge to a brother. It take him 3 months to finish something so simple. And you look at it, you don't take it as serious as you should, man. But we're at the end of this thing. And it's time to start waking up. It's time to start taking the truth serious, more serious than you ever been. More serious than you ever done. Obey them that have the rule over you and submit yourselves. Submit. What does the word submit mean? Submit. Place oneself under the control of another. Yield oneself. The scripture talking about suffering wrongfully. All type of things the scripture talk about to prepare you to be able to come under men. You got older men that's in the world that's 60, 50, 40. They have to submit themselves to men that are 20, 25. You know, they live more worldly years, but in the spirit, they're underneath that man. You got brothers' children. We was talking about the other day. You got brothers' children's that's over some brothers that came into the faith. The children of that prophet is over those men, over that man. Become submissive and transitive from Latin to yield, lower, let down, put asunder, reduce. It says reduce yourselves. Yield yourselves. Lower yourselves. So there you have it, man. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Obey them that have the rule over you and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls. This is for your betterment, man. Like Jake make it look like what we're saying is so bad to the point they buck up against it and become all these different things. We telling you, nigga, we about to inherit immortality, everlasting life, and these are the steps and the guidelines to obtain that. But not just that, because all Israel should be saved. It's more so in terms of that it's going to be ranking the kingdom. And I want to be next to Yahushua. Not like that. I don't like how that was sounded. I want to be amongst Yahushua. Yahushua. I want to be amongst Yahushua, man. Right? I want to be in his presence all the time as much as I can be. I want to sip wine with Yahushua. He's not drinking wine until he meet back up with his bride. That's a special thing. And I want to be a part of that. Knowing how hard this fight was, knowing what we had to go through in this fight, knowing the things we had to go through, and then we get to sip wine with the king because he went through the same things, even greater, and we can relate. I'm at the table drinking wine with a man that can relate to my pain. All because I obeyed the things he said to do. You know? Man. Yeah, man. I'm gonna leave it there. Lord willing, brothers and sisters was edified, you know. As it is written as well in Hebrews 11, tell you that. Just grab that real quick and close. Man, we got to get better, man. We got to get better. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for the evidence of things not seen. For by it, faith is the elders obtained a good report. Because they believe, because elders believe, the report with the Lord is good. Okay, it's good. And you think the Lord don't care about the things, how they feel and how, you know, the Lord care about his men. Whether it's an elder, whether it's a young brother, the elect is the elect. They get the same reward, the same penny. But the point I'm making is that the elder brothers have been pushing for X amount of years. You know, myself only going 10 years. Myself only 10 years in the faith, man. You know, when I came into the truth, I started teaching that same day. I was by myself for 2 years before I met with bros. You know, and it's because of the faith, though. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, so when you come into this thing, you don't know nothing. Everything you ever knew was a lie, and you got to erase everything you thought was right because it was wrong, because you didn't have the right. Okay, one thing could be right, but let me see. Something can be put together and it actually works, but just because it worked don't mean it actually was put together properly, right? It's something called, Jake in the J communities, we call it nigger rig. You could nigger rig something and it worked, but don't mean it was done correctly. So the danger and the possibility of consumption is at a risk. Fires can start, wires being crossed wrong. Anything can happen if something is done wrong. You have to build correctly. You know, for all my construction folks out there, brothers out there, and, you know, carpenters and so forth that can understand what I'm saying, or just understanding the concept of, you know, design. You know, things gotta be done the right way, man. That's it, man. Things gotta be done the right way. So faith, the elders been built of faith. Their foundation is sure, and you have to come in and you have to trust that the men over you is guiding you correctly. Because Satan will get in your mind, you'll be like, man, Jake's saying this, but the elder just said it. No, man, trust that the Lord, the man that's over you, is over you for a reason, and you're under these men for a reason, and the Lord got you in your specific church for a reason. Why do you think some brothers go to different churches? Because the Spirit is compelling them to move from this one church to another church and abide in that city and amongst them brothers, because that's what his Spirit needed. All right, he's fulfilled the portion in terms of, you know, being fed a certain way within the church he was at before. I didn't see brothers leave one church in one state and then go to another state, fellowship with them brothers for X amount of years, and then come back to their first church that they started fellowshipping with. It could be, I'm in Cleveland. It could be Cleveland, and you move. We didn't have the brother Zariah, man, the beloved brother Zariah, man. All right, he was out here with us for a minute, came into the faith just before we merged our camps, and you know, next thing you know, he was standing strong. Then he ended up crossing. Did he cross in Cleveland with us? I mean, not with us, but I'm saying like with us, like here in the Cleveland branch. I can't remember if we crossed him here or did he cross in, you know, in the state he's at. But anyways, that's an example. He crossed over, and, you know, he's fellowshipping with brothers in another state because of work. You know what I'm saying? You know. So you have that, but you got to trust that the men that you're up under is working directly with the Spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai, directly with Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. You got to trust that. And if they're guiding you wrong, it's on them. But you have your discernment and all that, but the things they don't do and the things they do is going to still fall under the guidelines of judgment. And that goes for us as well. So the report that we have is by faith, and you got to trust that we're guiding correctly, because we obtain a good report through our faith. And the Lord is listening to these reports. He's reading and listening to these reports, man. And feeding us back the information and answers we need to continue to guide his sheep. And we can't do that if you're not listening. We got to remember, we got to do this thing with joy. You know, you could like, look, man. So anyways, Lord willing, this is edifying. Just remember, man, remember the order. Don't go outside of the order. If you remember the order, that this thing comes with order and ranking, all right, for the betterment of self and the betterment and the building up of the kingdom of heaven, the spiritual temple, the third temple. Just keep that in mind. It help you walk correctly. Lord willing, is edifying. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory, infinite praise. All honor and glory, infinite praise and worship to our power. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Racha HaKodash. The water Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, give me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, was edifying. Double honor to our apostle, elder bishops, great millstone. Peace, I taste it. Hopefully, until next time, shalom.